This is day 371 of Zohar, Pshat, and I have to tell you that we are very heavily, according to Sulam, into very esoteric, extremely obscure Kabbalistic concepts, and our derech of trying to do this as simply as possible is very meeting very strong resistance in this paragraph. But the flip side of that is doing stuff which is to us unintelligible, as the Sulam in this section is. So we have to try and understand as best we can, understanding that we're just touching the superficial surface of the meaning of this passage, and I'm sure many passages which we're going to see in the Zohar Kodesh, but particularly these passages which we've been doing about these Eicholos that feel are extremely cryptic, extremely difficult for us to grasp in any way, shape, or form. I don't even use the word understanding, just grasping. Okay, so we are on Mem Gimel Amud Beis, and we are Chad Heichola, which is 3, 6, 9, 11, 12, 15 lines in the bottom. There's one heichal for these 70 earlier lights which we spoke about. Lagot klosa, and it's inside the 3. Lilain klosa achrinin, and another 3. Salka hayrucha. So again, there are somehow there are 3 heicholos within the heichal. Then another 3 heicholos. I don't know what to make of them. The Sulam talks about in great length about the various different spheres they represent, from which part of the emanations they come, from above the chazah, below the chazah, which is way over our level. Salka hay rucha, but there's a ruach in this heichal. And this ruach is there a color, the south includes everything which is below it, including these 70 lights and the Sanhedrin, the different Batei Din, which either they comprise or they are part of. I don't know exactly how we understand the relationship between the 70 and the 3, but there's the Ruach which is in charge of them. Okay, and that's the important part here. The color koinu, the Sat includes everything below it. And this ruach produces a specific holy chaya, mislata, which is fiery. And it comes in with eyes which are like eyes of a human being. So in other words, there's a mida connected mida aspect here. This chaya in this heichal is looking at things from a human perspective, so to speak, human eyes. A vast amount of eyes or a vast amount of perspectives to perceive with thousands of thousands, tens of thousands of 10,000 chayolin, so forces. I think we should translate here, Morein de Duna, who are the masters of the judgment. In other words, this is a description of hashgacha pratis, where in the Lamas El Yonim, they look at things very differently for different people in different situations, at different times and places, in order to understand them according to their madrega, and from a human perspective, with all it means to be human as opposed to being angelic, which obviously is a different perspective altogether. And include nothing piskin. They all take piskin. Piskin, or petek, is a note. In other words, here they have a specific notes which decree what's going to happen. What's going to upaschim sagim ba'alma, and they open and close in the world, vashlimu dina, and they complete the din. So there's this extraordinarily complicated, but appropriately calibrated hashgacha on everything which occurs, to have a reciprocal response to every entity thing down below in the appropriate way. And the 70s and the 3s, those are the ways those judgments are carried out. But the judgment is very, very meticulous and very, very precise and very, very detailed. Chos HaChayusa, under this Chaya, who's in charge of this process, Arba Srafim Elaton, there are 4 burning Srafim, which kind of seems like redundant. Kulu Kechezer V'Shoshan, or they are like a Chayos v'shoshan are like buttons which button into each other, or stitches which stitch into each other. I forget exact translation. Yes, it's on Shlosha Gvim Meshukadim B'kanei Echad Kaftor V'Ferach. So the Targum Yerushalmi there is Chezor V'Shoshan. Maybe it's also in the Unclus there. Chezor V'Shoshan is Kaftor V'Ferach. So Kaftor, the button V'Ferach, and the flower which holds it. So they come together. So Chezor V'Shoshan here that means that they are somehow connected, like the flower and the button on the menorah. So I assume that it seems there's some working in sync closely together. Ushvivi de esha salkin, and bolts of fire go up. Ein beis galgalin l'chol chad milatam beisha. 72 wheels for each one, which is burning in fire. And we had the symbolism of 72 before, but I think that it means here that obviously there's a tremendous amount of fiery hashgacha here. Kadnatin is avid nahar chadinorim when they're moved. In other words, when all these components come together, they become one fire, one river of fire. Elf alfim misham shalu nura, and there are thousands of servants for that fire. Mitaman nafki kama chayolin, here come several forces. Kalgalgalin nutlin, and when they roll, they're taken. Kama inun riva ruvan dikumun minayo begohau nura. There are several dikumun. I'm not sure it was the rising from this fire. In any event, there certainly is some sort of reference, like the Sulam says here to, I think, the pasuk in Daniel Elf Alafim Misham Shanei. But there are, I think that this fire of this shefa, which comes down, is so powerful that now it says that when underneath the second heichal, I don't know how we get to the second heichal, what the different heichalos are referring to here, if the heichal is below or the heichal in this heichal. But in any event, there come forces which want to praise this flow of fire. They want to come here, and they all burst into fire. So it sounds like a negative thing that they all burn up. But I think the idea is that there is this tremendous connection between the shefa, which is very powerful, and the people who come to the entities, malachim, who come to praise the shefa, and the praise is swallowed up, and it's as if it doesn't exist relative to the power of the flow. And evidently that flow is beyond all capacity to praise, because it's so profound and so complex and so precise and so much made up of extraordinary details that it is beyond any perception, and therefore beyond any proper grasp that one should be able to praise it. Okay, so I think we'll stop here for today, and we'll forge ahead as much as we can tomorrow.